talk about these damn Stanley Cups. Candace Owens, what you got for me?
Now it's time for some hard-hitting journalism. Something is happening. There is an epidemic that we are facing. It is just sweeping the nation. It is particularly impacting white women. And white women, I need your help. I need to understand what is going on with this Stanley Cup craze. First and foremost, I tried to avoid it. I didn't even want to talk about it. I just didn't want it to be a part of my life. And then the stories in the press just started getting crazier. As just one example, you may have recently heard that a woman was arrested after police found $2,500 worth of Stanley Cups in her car. Yeah, completely normal. Also, women are beating the living crap out of one another, trying to get their hands on exclusive colored Stanley Cups. So watch this video of women fighting over Stanley Cups at Target.
It's never that serious, bro.
Yeah, they are just like, yeah, I need this cup right now. I don't know how I'm ever going to get a pink one if I don't show up at Target right now. And if you think that's bad, apparently, you guys know I'm not on TikTok, but somebody sent me the clip. People are collecting these things and they're organizing them by color. Take a look/listen.
Organize my Stanleys with me.
This is unbelievable.
Like,
She needs them all. She has got to catch them all like they are Pokemon. So I have never even touched a Stanley Cup before today. I haven't even touched one yet because somebody just put this on the desk. And I'm going to see if the things that I am hearing people say about it are true. And I'm going to point out that we have racial differences. We have genetic differences. I am specifically noticing this across white women feeds. They talk about their Stanley Cups, how much they love them. Here are the things that they say to me. My white friends say, you drink more water. It makes me want to drink water. It just feels so good. It's just the way it feels in your hand. It's something about the handle.
honestly, folks, to be completely honest, like, and again, like what you like. If you're into Stanley Cups, go for it. I just don't understand. And maybe clearly I'm not of that demographic, so I'm not a middle-aged or young millennial Gen Z white girl. So maybe it's not for me to understand. It's a cup in its simplest form. It's a cup. I actually had a coworker as well too. She had a Stanley Cup. And I saw, which is cool. And she, of course, whatever. I saw it on her desk, whatever. I was like, "Is that a Stanley Cup?" And she's like, "Yeah, whatever the case is." It was a cool pink cup. And then she broke it down to me as well too. And it's just like, there's an eyelash in my eye. My fault. She broke it down to me as well too. Like, I mean, it's just it's whatever. She broke it down. She said it like really does keep your drinks cool, or for a long time. It keeps your drinks warm for a long time. What are the cases? But in its simplest form, folks, it's a cup. You're not really catching me. Yeah, it's a collector's item. Again, just like she was saying, she was alluded to the Beanie Babies. I get that. Like, and these things do happen. They're, like staples in the cultural, whatever the case is. But my whole thing is, there has to be some type of discipline when it comes to, like, I'm not about to fight you over a cup. I'm not about to be waiting outside at Target 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning to be the first one to get my hands on a cup. You heard the lady, man. It's all the same. The water tastes exactly the same. So it's just like, again, I'm not really going to knock people for liking what they like. Cool, you could like what you like. You could, whatever the case is. But please do remember, when you're getting ready to get into a tussle and you're getting ready to fight and yell and scream and get arrested, woman arrested after police find $2,500 worth of Stanley Cups in her car. It can't be like that, bro. It's not worth it. What are you doing with $2,500 worth of Stanley Cups in your car? It's a little unhinged, I should say, if you ask me. So, I don't know. Again, like, maybe I'm not of that demographic to understand it, but like, come on, bro. come on, bro. It's just doing a little bit too much if you ask me. But again, this is a guy who, you can rebuttal and say, oh, don't your kind, don't your kind stand out of Foot Lockers and wait for Jordans 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning? Don't your demographic? And yeah, there was a period of time. I clearly don't do that now. Of course, now the game is all, you got to win it through an app, whatever the case is, and put your bid in, and then there's all these resellers. But yeah, you can rebuttal and say exactly that. Hey, man, don't African-American males and minority males, or whatever the case is, stand in lines to get the latest pair of Jordans that came out the year before and the year before that and the same year before that, the same exact pair with a little differentiation. So you can maybe compare that to that, and I'll say, yeah, touche. Touche, you got me. So that's why I'm not really going to go too hard on y'all for that's going hard on these Stanley Cups. Like what you like, man. If that's your thing, cool, go for it. You're not going to hear me, I'm not going to bat an eye on your preferences, what you deem a collector's item. But I'm saying, do keep in mind, the same thing as well, too, as your rebuttal. Do keep in mind for anybody who's, infatuated with these worldly possessions, plastic and fabric and metals, like, things that, like what you like, but I'm not about to go to jail because I fought somebody for a Stanley Cup. I'm not about to get a police record because I was caught with $2,500 worth of Stanley Cups in my car. Like, because at that point, when you're sitting in that cellar, when you're looking at your record, like, damn, bro, I got my first misdemeanor because I stole some cups. What? Or same thing as well, too. Damn, man, I'm in jail right now because, I killed somebody over a pair of Jordans. It's the same thing. I hear you. I would compare it to the same thing. It's stupid. Both are stupid, folks. That's my take on that, man. It's just like, I'm not about to do the most for no damn cup. Compartment which holds water. I like to do that a lot with, like, material possessions, man. Like, all these things, again, I'm not really a big fan of just, like, super high fashion, like designer, Gucci, Louis, whatever the case is, because I can always just look at what you see as Gucci. I see a green and red stripe, 2 G's interlocked. Oh man, I'm rocking the fresh Balenci, and I got the new Louis Vuitton, or whatever the case is, that new Louis V. Which you see that and hold in high regard, I see a L and a V on some fabric. Break these things down in the simplest forms, and you'll start understanding how stupid it is. And yeah, you'll rebuttal and be like, no, man, but you don't understand. Like, it's quality, bro. It's quality. The leather and the stitching on I get you. You can be a fan of all of that. But in its simplest form, we cannot deny that you paid X amount. You paid somebody's rent on some fabric. On a belt? On a Louis belt, a Gucci belt? A Stanley Cup? It's a cup, bro. It's a cup. I'm seeing, I think I saw another story where these things are reselling for hundreds of dollars. Mind you, the cup was what, $30, $45? It's all marketing. It's all branding. I give it that. That's what all these things are. We like what we like because it's marketed to us properly. And then there's like FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. Oh man, I got to get my hands on one because they got one. And then some of these items, these iPhones, things like that, those are, status symbols as well too. So a lot of that is just like, oh, I was able to get my hands on one, or I can afford one. I get that, man. I think it's backwards. I don't condone it, but we fall victim to that in this culture, in our society. But Stanley Cups, I don't know the craze. Again, I'm not of that demographic to understand it, but I understand. Touche, you got me. If you say, hey, man, your demographic likes to stand in line for Jordans and kill each other over shoes and hoodies and jackets and stupid stuff like that. So I get that. Touche, you got us there.